Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So guys, in this video we will have our discussion on the science of palmistry and specifically the spiritual side of palmistry. So guys, this is one such presentation which I prepared for my presentation for a very important astrology platform. Over there I was supposed to give it or present it in the Hindi language, but then I thought that okay, after giving the presentation it to them, it's very important for my own astrology and mystic science community as well, because I have lately what I've been doing is that whenever it comes down to the science of palmistry, I have just given standalone individual topics only. Like for example, what does the heart line tell about, what does the index finger tell about, or in certain cases I've done a case study like for someone to be lucky in the matters of speculation, what could be the signs to look for in the palm. So we have done those topics, we have covered those topics in bits and pieces, but in this standalone one video we will try to understand palmistry in a nutshell only. And definitely guys, after this two of my courses are always very handy and ready with me. Like if you want to do a tarot 2-day workshop, you can write it to me, email it to me. If you want to learn tarot from me. And for palmistry as well, I'm thinking about at least coming up with a four four classes, after which you will definitely be having a complete idea about how the science of palmistry works. So okay guys, now without doing any further ado, now we will get into the presentation which I have prepared. So guys, the very first thing is that if you have to understand palmistry, you have to learn it from the source. So you must be knowing this thing that all of Hindus, we somehow ascribe the source of the divine knowledge way back to the Vedas. Now the way it has been believed, the four Vedas like Samved, Atharved, Rigved, Yajurved, the way it has been believed that the knowledge of the Vedas was something which was not written by our sages in that enlightened state. It was something which they heard, and that is how they passed it to the next lineage of the sages and the saints. But guys, just for these Vedas, for making them understandable to a common man as well, and the rules and regulation which needs to be followed in order to learn these four Vedas, they were translated into there were like 6 Vedangas which need to be practiced if you want to gain expertise over these Vedas. So those 6 Vedangas are like, you can also do a Sandhi Vichhed. You can break down this word Vedang as well, like Ved Ang. It's like a limb of the Vedas. Like the way, for example, there is Nirukuta, which is seen as the ears of the Vedas. It is important because over here in this branch you will get to know about the meaning of the Vedic words. Then the next branch is the Kalpa, which is seen as the hands of the Vedas, which just tells about the rituals, dharmas, which a priest or a practitioner needs to follow. There is Shiksha, which act as a nose of the Vedas, over where you will find the poetry, sound, phonetics of Vedas. Then there is Vyakaran, which is seen as the face of the Vedas, over where you get to know about the grammatical structure in the Vedas. Chandas, which are seen as the feet of the Vedas. Over here you will find the hymns dedicated to the god. And the one which we have to follow today is the Jyotish. So Jyotish, which is seen as the eyes of the Vedas. All the knowledge which we discuss over here through different form of lineage. This could be whether you are learning the Bhrathura Shastra, whether you are learning any other different field as well. All of that comes from the root source of everything, which is the Vedas. So Jyotish, which is being seen as the eyes of the Vedas. After that guys, this can be further classified into another, you can divide it in another 5 branches, verticals, out of which one is the Samhita Jyotish, which is the time analysis for the auspicious events. You can further categorize it as the Ang Vidya or the Samudrik Shastra. Now Ang Vidya means, Ang means your body part and Vidya means the education or the knowledge of that, which is the Samudrik Shastra, and that Samudrik Shastra can be further classified or divided into three verticals. One of which is the Hasta Jyotish, which means reading and deciphering the markings, the lines found on the hand. Next is the Pad Jyotish, which means the feet. So trust me guys, the way each line in your palm, each marking in your palm means something, same is the way the markings in your feet also has got a specific meanings attached to it. And the last is the Mukh Jyotish, which we call as the face reading as well. So this was about how you can take the science of palmistry, which is also called as the Hast Jyotish, back to the Vedas. Now guys, after that, see what our rishis believed was that they found a correlation between the visible features of the hand and the state of the conscious mind, subconscious thought process, and the superconscious intuition of the spirit. And very soon you will get to know that when we divide even the three major lines on our palm, or whether we see the three phalanges on our fingers, or even the mounts, which can be further classified into three levels. So the conscious mind, subconscious thought process, and the superconscious intuition of the spirit. Now guys, after that, definitely if you want to understand and the human psychology, so knowing that three gunas will become very important, like on the basis of Ayurveda also gives it importance, palmistry, astrology, all of that gives importance to understanding someone's mool prakriti, mool subhava nature on these three plane. We all know that sattva, which is very elevating, which is very light, which is very transcendental, the true wisdom and the knowledge. Rajas has got everything to do with the energy, it has got everything to do with the action, and it also acts as a balancing factor between the sattva and the tamas. And the last guys is the tamas, which we know represents the sloth, inertia, inactivity, or too much of the physical obsession. Now guys, when we talk about, many of you will be curious that okay, what could be the reason that I have got a certain palm lines only, or I have like a special sun line, I have a special symbol on my palm. So to begin with, what could be the reason for a specific peculiar form of palm lines which you have found in this lifetime? So that's very simple. It can be ascribed, or three reasons can be attached to it. The very first reason is the acquired karma, the past life deeds. This is a spiritual science over where we believe that all the experiences which the soul has accumulated from the past so many lifetimes, on that basis only soul chooses a specific alignment of the planets to take the birth and a specific womb. So not only astrology is doing its play, but also the lines markings on your palm as well. So universe knows everything, and that's how your fate and your personality traits are going to be ascribed in the form of the marking on your hands. So the very first reason for that is acquired karma, the past life deeds. Point number two is we can call it genetics, we can call it hereditary, and trust me guys, because I remember before moving to Canada, when I was doing my readings from a physical location, from a shop, in a mall, and when the families used to come to me for a reading, so we'll definitely find a symmetry when you will see the hands of parents and the son, or whether their astrological chart, or whether the palm and all, you will definitely find a symmetry. So genetics, hereditary could be one reason. And the last is definitely fetal environment, which the mother gets at the time of conception. So when a female mother is pregnant, so the kind of environment the fetal gets, the womb gets, that also has a say on what kind of markings the child is going to be born with. Now guys, after that, definitely if you are a serious seeker of the science of palmistry, you need to be aware about the advantages of learning this spiritual science, holy science. Because guys, trust me, palmistry is one such science over where, see, humans have always been curious about foreseeing their future, knowing their future in advance, and not everyone has that access to astrology, understanding the planets and everything. These days we have the access to the softwares and the apps, so everything is easily accessible. But even before, like not long before, this science used to be restricted only to the kings and the royalties only, and the brahmin, the priest, which used to have the knowledge of all these sciences, used to make use of this knowledge only to advise the king only. So I mean to say, but definitely you cannot resist this urge to know your future in advance. So humanity has always looked at and has tried to find out the answer looking in their hands, looking in their palm only. Now over here it hardly matters whether you're Persian, whether you're Indian, whether you're Chinese, Japanese, Irish. So that means palmistry is something which the whole world, the whole humanity has resorted to for knowing things. So the very first advantage of the palmistry is that it gives you a snapshot personality analysis. That means, okay, guys, I always say this thing that foretelling someone's future is another thing that might put you in a category of a expert fortune teller, an expert astrologer, an expert psychic, foretelling the accurate future. But even if you can have this mastery of whatever skill you use, if it's numerology, observing the numbers, if it is tarot, looking at the cards, if it is astrology, looking at the astrological chart, if you can accurately describe someone's true personality, the way this person thinks deep from within, then also you are headed in the right way. And in this field, for this objective, palmistry work very beautifully. Like one thing is for sure that foretelling future is another thing that needs another level of expertise. But after looking at palm, looking at someone's palm, even with a mediocre knowledge, at least you will be able to predict, okay, this is how this person feel, this is how this person think, this is how, and this is the kind of energy level this person has, this is the kind of popularity and fame this person has. All of that can be assessed, which takes us to the point number two. Acts very effectively, and it proves to be very effective tool in matchmaking. So guys, trust me, if you do not have the correct time of birth and you want to see your compatibility with your partner and something, so obviously observing both of your headline, both of your lifeline and the Saturn line and everything, a lot of that can be predicted. So I mean to say, it definitely act as a very effective tool for the matchmaking. The next point is that it definitely removes the dependency on the birth details. Trust me guys, this is one such pain. You ask those people who do not have their accurate time of birth, and like some of them, like their destiny, their prarabdh was like that. They were supposed to follow the field of astrology. They were destined to predict on other people's lives, but when you ask about their chart, so just because they were born in the villages and their mother did not have the access to the calendar and all these bookkeeping and all, so they do not have, like their mother did not was able to note down the correct time of birth. Like in certain cases people don't even know about the birth day as well. Oh, my mom says that okay, that was the month when the flood came in our village, when the famine happened in the village. So I mean to say, so it palmistry to an extent uh, removes your dependency on the correct birth details. After that guys, definitely palmistry proves to be very helpful for getting a glimpse of the future. It also proves to be very effective in the medical diagnosis as well. Whatever is bound to happen, and in certain cases I have met those like palmist and all who claim that they have remained very lucky in accurately predicting some like very severe medical cases as well, like any liver failure, kidney failure, or reproductive organ issues, heart attacks and all. So lot many palmists were able to predict that or see that much in advance, seeing in the palm. After that guys, definitely one thing which sets apart this science is it has a degree and sense of uniqueness which no other science has. Like even if you talk about your lagna or your moon sign, even I would say your moon nakshatra as well, you will definitely find lot many people with the same level of um, alignments or overlap. But when we talk about uniqueness, so you all know that our fingerprints are unique in this world. With billions of the people, you will not find another person with the similar fingerprint marking which you have. So that means it somehow gives or adds a uniqueness to your way of dealing with any of the client. Now guys, after that, okay, this slide is very important, which tells about the special markings. So like the way guys, it has been explained like whenever there are like those saints who are born, the Messiah or the divine incarnations, in Hinduism we call it as avatar. I'm sure in Christianity, in Islam, in different religion, Buddhism, they might have some other ways of addressing these kind of incarnation which happens on the earth. So I mean to say, definitely the way it has been explained that okay, when Lord Rama was born or Lord Krishna was there, they all had specific divine markings in their body, in their palm. But even in today's modern day and age, when we talk about those people who are born with that elevated level of consciousness, which sets them apart from that collective bulk material thinking, like 90% of the people in this world are worried about paying their bills, getting married, having a secure job, worried on the count of health. But they're like those people who are born with a destiny, with some unique purpose in order to educate, enlighten, guide millions of the people and all the world somehow look up to them for the guidance, for the instructions and all principles to be followed in the life and all. So I mean to say, these kind of people are there and they are born with some special markings in their palm. So over where guys, in this slide you will see two extreme example. Like even when we talk about the divine saintly people like Prabhupada ji, so there is a surety that in his palm he would have some unique symbols which gave him that elevated level of consciousness. On the other end, if we talk about Genghis Khan, now guys, for Genghis, this Mongol, I'm sure that many Mongolians will be looking up to him. They might see him as a role model and all, but we cannot overlook this fact that in his lifetime he was responsible for the bloodshed and killing of millions of people. And the way it has been written in the books, some of the ancient historical books and all, that when he was born with a clot of blood in his closed fist. And when it happened, there was a local shaman and he made this prediction that okay, this boy, when he will grow up, he'll be responsible for the bloodshed of the millions of people. So I mean to say, in this regard as well, palmistry has got a upper edge that there are like certain signs, or through the decoding of these signs, it can be accurately predicted regarding someone's elevated level of consciousness. uh, Along with that guys, now just because we're talking about the science of palmistry and also, definitely it is our duty to give credit to the shining example, luminary figure of that field, which is the Kiro. So guys, a lot has been talked about Kiro. See, it's not kind of a secret. Kiro has written this thing in his own biography. You can find it written in his own words that at one stage in his life, he came to India and he landed at Maharashtra, and there was one priestly Brahmin class of people with the last name as mine, Joshi. So they took him to their house, because those used to be the time when these kind of knowledge was not spread like this over the internet and publishing the books and all. Certain families used to have that kind of monopoly over those subjects and all. So he remained lucky and his stars might have conspired, or it might be in his destiny that he reached to those people only, and he win over their heart, that they offered him all of their those sort of secretive kind of knowledge of palmistry, so and certain sutras. So the way it has been written and mentioned that the books which these people showed him, It was like the skin of an animal. This could be deer or I do not know the exact animal skin, but it was written in a gold, in a animal skin, all those images, all these kind of interpretation of those special markings and all. So he stayed with those people for a while, and then he moved back, and I guess he went to Europe, and then he opened his own practice of palmistry, opened up his office. The best part was that at the prime of his career, many of the noble, royal, and king, queen, and these kind of people used to be his client. He was regularly visited by the who's who, the rich and the royal of the society, people who were at the prime in that era when he used to operate as a full-time palmist. And all of the predictions made by him used to be the highlight in the newspaper. And I still remember, like even at his at the last phase of his life as well, there used to be the time when there have been those rumors that he suddenly kind of disappeared from the place where he was living and where he used to operate, and no one was able to find him. And there was this like very powerful person who wanted some guidance, so he put all of his resources at the disposal to find him. And later on, it has been mentioned that some priest in the India gave them the direction that okay, you will find in this cave. And he was actually found in that cave with his long beard, in a very kind of bad condition, with the Gautam Buddha's statue idol in his hand, living alone in that isolated cave. So yes, this guy has contributed or brought a lot of glory to the science of palmistry. Now guys, the next slide is definitely, I cannot leave you high and dry like this without even talking about palmistry on a video episode on palmistry. So I will just give you a brief idea about the fingers. Late in the next slide, we will briefly talk about the mounts, and then we will call it off. And I will look forward to your participation, and we'll see how many more videos I need to make. So guys, definitely we have to if we have to talk about the fingers, the index finger is connected with the planet Jupiter. So index finger guys, because it is connected with Jupiter, it tells about your wisdom, it tells about the kind of power, authority you will enjoy in this lifetime. Index finger also tells about your leadership qualities to an extent. So leadership qualities, divinity embedded, the luck factor, your capacity to lead people, teach, instruct, inspire people, all of that is seen from the index finger. Next comes the middle finger, which is also called as the Shani finger, Saturn finger. So definitely guys, like the way in our astrological chart as well, Saturn attains exaltation in the Kal Purush Kundli 7th house, because Saturn wants to be out there in the public, and it acts like a balancing factor. So I mean to say, even in our hand as well, Saturn's finger is right there in the middle. So this is a finger which tells about your capacity to do the research, your interest in historical, occult connected subjects, your capacity to do research, how stable and consistent your career is going to be, and to what heights you will go and you will reach in your career. That all we get to know from the middle finger. Now guys, the next is the ring finger, which is a finger connected with the Apollo or the planet Sun. This finger tells about your personal magnetism. It also tells about your risk-taking abilities. It also tells about the capacity to be recognized, being famous. In short, personal magnetism we see from the Apollo finger. Some sort of speculative gains is also seen somehow from this finger and the mount connected with it. Now guys, and the last is the little finger, which is known as the Mercury finger. So your business acumen, your communication skills, how opportunistic you are going to be, all of that we generally see from the little finger. So yes guys, this is about the fingers. And when we talk about the mounts, so definitely guys, mounts somehow acts as the reservoir of the energy. So the mounts play a very important role, because any of the planetary energy and the vibration, if you want to check, more than the finger, more than the line, it's the mount only. How puffed, protruded that area is, that region is. Is there a Excel try ready on that mount? How high set it is? Are there any special markings and symbols on that specific mount? all of that becomes very, very important. So the very first mount is the mount of Jupiter, just beneath the index finger. So this mount of Jupiter, how puffed, how protruded this region is, how much, like, if better it is going to be if the headline and the lifeline start a little bit beneath, because then it is going to give more space to the mount of Jupiter. So this is the region, guys, which tells about your faith, your capacity to lead, how harmonious your matrimonial life is going to be. So all of that, like your the faith, integrity, honesty, capacity to teach, inspire, respect, honor, matrimonial life, all of that we see from the mount of Jupiter. Next to is the mount of Saturn beneath the middle finger. So mount of Saturn, guys, the criteria is not the same the way we judge the mount of Jupiter, because it is considered as a flat mount. This mount generally tells about, in negative cases, if you will find a lot of the lines being afflicted under this region on this plane. So it can add pessimism to someone's personality, slight like factors and vulnerability towards depression and sadness and all. But in majority of the cases, this is the region which tells about your capacity to do the research, or how high far you will go in your career, your capacity to do philanthropic work or give back to the society, how much you will be respected in the society. Eventually, ultimately, your contribution to the humanity, to the society, we see from the Saturn mount. Now, guys, next is the mount of Apollo, which generally tells about, it somehow tells about your like, any speculative gains we see from here, your capacity to be famous, recognized, all of that we see from the mount of Sun, mount of Apollo. In a way, this is a mount of brilliance or the excellence. And lastly, guys, when we talk about the mount of Mercury, this is about the upper mounts. So mount of Mercury is very important because it tells about your business acumen. It also tells about, like, there are like certain symbols like medical stigmata, a very passionate, compassionate kind of marking, which is generally found over here. Along with that, how opportunistic you are, how playful, how communicative you are, all of that we see from the mount of Mercury and the symbols and the markings which you will find over here on this mount. So guys, this is about the upper mounts. When we talk about the middle of the palm, over here, guys, we will first of all, to begin with, you will find that Mars has been allotted the whole middle of the palm. I mean to say, just next to the thumb is the inner Mars. Now this is the because we know the general innate qualities of the Mars, which has to do with the competitiveness, aggression, brotherhood, youthfulness. So the aggressive side of the Mars we see from the inner Mars. When we talk about your endurance, if being challenged, are you gonna stay firm? Are you gonna get timid, get threatened, get fearful? So I mean to say, your capacity to stood by your work, be disciplined, be organized, lead people with your word, with your example, inspiring the world and all. So somehow the outer Mars, your capacity to withstand the hardship in the life, we generally see from the outer Mars. And the middle region, guys, is called as the plane of the Mars. So this region, because inner Mars, outer Mars and the plane of the Mars. Inner Mars is aggression, fighting spirit. Outer Mars is your endurance, your discipline, and the plane of the Mars, the mid of the hand, the plane of the Mars, just tells about, how much land and how much you'll be able to accumulate in the life. Now, guys, after that, when we reach the bottom of the hand, over there, close to the thumb, you will find the mount of the Venus. It tells about your lifestyle, your magnetism, capacity to appreciate the beautiful things in the life, how romantic you are going to be, how appreciator you are going to be of the good things, beautiful things, gratefulness, all of that we generally see from the mount of Venus. And also it also tells about how well you'll be supported by your kith and kin, like your the immediate family, how well they take care of you. Like, it also tells about what kind of experience you're going to have close to your birthplace. So all of that is from the mount of Venus. Mount of Moon on the other end just tells about, we know moon is about feelings, about emotions, empathy, compassion, travels, food and lifestyle, eating habits. All of that we generally see from the mount of the moon. And lastly guys, when we talk about Rahu and Ketu, so Rahu is found just in the middle of the palm only, but just beneath the plane of Mars. So the mount of Rahu somehow tells about speculative gains, and like how kind of opportunistic, clever, money minded you are. Your capacity to have those sudden big fluctuation or sudden big inflow of the money. Now definitely you have to be in that field. If you are a trader, if you are an actor, you have built your life in those fields where there is a possibility for you to remain lucky in sudden big fortune of wealth or money coming to you. Now definitely if you're just working as an accountant, you don't even do anything, not to say much, you do not even go and buy a lotto ticket, you don't even invest anywhere, you do not have any side venture, then even if planets and the running dasha wants to give to you, but you do not design your life like that. But those people who have a strong Rahu, they somehow knew this thing in the back of the mind, and they have invested them in multiple things, that whenever the right dasha come, right opportunity come, right person comes, they know how to encash on it. And lastly guys, when we talk about the plane of Ketu, which you will find right immediate close attached to the bracelet on the bottom of the palm, in the middle of the bottom of the palm. So amount of Ketu, we all know that it has to do with intuition, it has to do with the psychic knowledge, your capacity to meditate, the kind of perfection you have, any of the acquired talents which you have acquired. This could be some unexplainable mystical kind of talents which have been acquired from the past life and all. So all those information we generally see from the mount of the Ketu on our palm. And lastly guys, when we talk about this is the last and the most important slide, because here we're not talking about a science over where just the calculation part is enough, like which could be the domain of numerology or astrology. We are talking about a science over where your intuition and the divine grace plays a very important role. Looking at your palm only, I have seen people who have predicted so many things. They have predicted so many things, and when you ask them in private, then they say this thing, that is the East Kripa I have. And the goddess or the Devi which preside over this science is called as the Devi Panchanguli. Now this can be translated in English as Panchanguli, means 5 fingers, goddess of the 5 fingers. So yes guys, the mantra is over there: Om Em Hrim Klim Panchangule Mata Mam Sarva Karya Siddhi Kuru Kuru Swaha. And there's a very good book written by Dr. Narayan Dutt Shri Mali ji. You can buy that book in order to follow the whole process of like doing the sadhana of the Devi Panchanguli Mata. Along with that, there are like certain months, like we say this thing, the month of the Vaishakh as per the lunar calendar, Vaishakh, Kartik, Ashwin, Magh, or these are the days. The specific nakshatra, generally if I were to summarize, rest you can see in the slide, the specific nakshatra which is connected with the invocation or doing the bhakti of the Devi Panchanguli is Hasta nakshatra. Hast nakshatra, which resides in the Virgo zodiac sign. So Hast in itself means the hands. So we like generally the practitioner of the Devi Panchanguli say this thing, that if you will take a vow that specific day when transiting moon is in the Hasta nakshatra, and on that day if you will be doing a mala or multiple malas of this mantra, as you can see in the slide in front of your screen, so you can actually get the blessings and grace of the Devi Panchanguli. And after that, whatsoever you will predict while looking at someone's hand, it will come true, or you will be able to assess any of the person's secrets or hidden personality, everything, just because of the grace of the Devi Panchanguli. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. I'm definitely planning to make further more videos on the subject of palmistry as well. And yes, if you are interested in joining the like we can do it in a 4-class format as well for the palmistry, and 2-class format for tarot. So if you are interested to do a workshop with me, please write an email to me, and we will make up a group and we'll think about the way forward. And yes guys, for further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, palmistry, tarot, numerology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account.